We have been mentioning that we need to remember the creed that we say every Sunday. And in the creed we say, I believe in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. And the Church provides us the many saints, the many apostles, so that we celebrate it throughout the entire year. Peter, Paul, Saint Simon and Jude, and Santiago, James, and so on. So all throughout the calendar to remind us that we are apostolic. And what does that mean, apostolic? That we are founded on the apostles. That the apostles are really, their teaching is a firm foundation that provides us with certainty of the faith, assurance of our faith, salvation in the faith. And so as we hear about Saint Simon and Saint Jude, here we have in the Gospel of Luke, how did Jesus do the choosing? He spent a whole night in prayer to God. It took a whole night of prayer. So it wasn't something that was done haphazardly, but rather intentionally, and he spent the whole night. Now, also the order in which they are mentioned is supreme importance. Right away, Simon, whom he named Peter, is the chief of the apostles. And then he names all of them. But you notice then that it takes this deliberate prayerfulness in order to choose them and establish them as the apostles. So our faith is built on them, and they, in turn, upon their preaching, we then, happens that we are made citizens of the holy ones, a member of the household of God, the church, built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, with Christ Jesus himself as a capstone. So you see how important the apostles in our daily lives, so that we can rely on our faith that is truly well-founded. And this is what we could share with our brothers who are not of the Catholic faith. Hey brothers, you need to be apostolic. Apostolic doesn't mean just having zeal to go out, but rather be fully established on the teachings of the apostles and another. And so so that their church will share in the apostolicity of it. So let's see what we have here about Saint Simon and Jude. The 12 are chosen to preach the good news. They form the foundation of a temple with Jesus himself as the cornerstone, as we read in the first reading. Simon, of first century, when he died, we don't know exactly the year. However, he was called a Canaanite from Cana, you know where the wedding feast day was. So from Cana, and also the Zealot, an anti-Roman party. And in that area of the Canaanites, the north part, that's where you have this group of anti-Roman. Possibly preached in Egypt and Persia, mentioned in the Roman canon. So when we have the first Eucharistic prayer, you hear it there. St. Jude, or Thaddeus meaning courageous, also died in the first century. We don't have the exact year. May have preached in Palestine and Persia, mentioned in the Roman canon. Patron of those in despair or in hopeless situations, perhaps because of the similarity of his name with that of Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus and despaired. And for many, many centuries, St. Jude Thaddeus was forgotten. He was, and it says here, maybe because of the confusion with Iscariot. And so now a new discovery came about back in 1929. And the discovery was done there at Our Lady of Guadalupe, that later on became, or still is, Our Lady of Guadalupe, but the National Shrine of St. Jude. Father James Stewart, he put up 2 statues there. He says, well, whoever wins, that's the one that's going to go on the main, on that side altar. And he put a little flower and St. Jude. Well, St. Jude won. So he put him up there, and that is, and I remember Father Tort. I got to know him and see him alive. But anyway, this is 1929, during the, right before the crash, stock market crash. And so this is where they're building a new church in the south side of South Chicago. And this is where the origin of the St. Jude devotion started, right then and there, and spread nationally and internationally. So that's a little bit of a history there of St. Jude. There's a lot more to it. We thought that in the 60s, when Vatican Council opened up the liturgy and brought us and reminded us, this, we cannot be satisfied with devotions and so forth. We thought that's the end of the St. Jude devotions. On the contrary, it blossomed even all the more. In fact, they have 5 novenas a year, a novena in February and another one in etc. And the big novenas in which it gets packed, and people from all over the country come to the novena to St. Jude in a tough neighborhood, insecure and all that. Nevertheless, people come to the novena to St. Jude. So we here we are honoring St. Simon and St. Jude as the patron of hopeless and difficult cases. So out of that we had the Voice of St. Jude, but then now we changed the title to U.S. Catholic Magazine. So, but basically it's also the Voice of St. Jude. So we'll continue then, asking for their intercession, so that we may have the understanding that we are based on the apostles and prophets, and above all, they guarantee us being with Jesus Christ himself as a capstone. That's the benefit of the apostles, who also intercede for us. And we should share that with our brothers as well, so they can begin to understand this one dimension of the creed.